17 minutes of heaven we call the D1Baseball College World Series daily get your brain right preview show. I am your host, Michael Patrick Rooney, joined by Kendall Rogers, Aaron Fitt. Boys, it's game day, day one, top of the stinking morning to you. How we doing?
Doing great.
I would be doing better if you introduced us as the great Aaron J. Fitt and the great Kendall J. Rogers. I feel like I've been deprived of my due title.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
Kendall Z. Rogers, by the way.
Kendall Rogers. Yeah, Fitzy. So now that we're in the game portion of the event, you have to earn greatness, right? Like I know that you showed up in Omaha great, but nobody cares about that now. You're 0-0.
Yeah.
Fair point.
He's got to earn it.
Yeah. Boys, let's just throw another thing out there. We've been here for 2 days. We're averaging 1 steak per day. How do you feel about that ratio, that metric?
Can we give Sergeant Kyle Peterson a lot of credit for the job that he did on the steaks last night? By the way,
amazing.
Sergeant
The Petersons, Kyle and Julie, amazing people.
Can we get 643 charts to release a new win probability added for each stake? Like, are we on the
right? You know what? So they did have something come out today. I was just looking at. They have the pitching metrics today.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna look at this.
Yeah.
So fielding independent pitching. So apparently, I need to dive into this a little bit, but it sounds like it's like what pitcher has the most impact on a game.
Gotta love it.
Jake Bennett, number 3. Jacob Polish, number 1. So take a look.
Gotta love it. Boys, that's a perfect segue because speaking of winning, I would like to talk to you about our postseason presenting sponsor, Wilson. For everyone that's in Omaha this week, you absolutely need to come check out the Omaha experience in the baseball village right by the stadium. It is awesome. You've got 4 of your favorite baseball brands under one roof: Wilson, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Evo Shield. It's like being a kid in a candy store. If you're not in Omaha, make sure you're following along with us on the D1Baseball feed this weekend. We'll be back in the store checking out more of their new releases. If you're following us on YouTube, please absolutely smash that subscribe button. We'd love a like too, if you don't mind. But again, if you're in Omaha, that village, they're about to win big today because Michael Patrick and Jennifer Lynn Rooney are about to go, like, just break some plastic over there. Like we're Fitzy and KR, we're ready to get over there and compete and swag it up. So you guys know my wife's an accountant, so we've got budget. We've got budget allocated, and it needs to be spent. So there you go.
Get after it, Runes.
You know what they say about budget dollars, Fitzy? You can't take them with you. Like, they don't come with you into 2023. They got to get spent. That's it. So, boys, before I end up with minus points on the nonsense tracker, let's get into the meat of the deal, if you will. We're gonna pick our games for today. First game is Notre Dame. First game's A&M Oklahoma. Second game is Notre Dame Texas. A&M Oklahoma at 1 o'clock local time, Central Time. Notre Dame Texas, the nightcap at 6 p.m. Central Time. Let's talk about this. Let's do A&M Oklahoma. Kendall, that's your region of the fine country. What say you about A&M and Oklahoma?
Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to be a really good game to start this thing off. I think when you look at A&M and its ability to win games late, I think you look at Oklahoma and just how red hot the Sooners have been. I mean, they played at an extremely high level the last couple of weeks. And for me, I think this game kind of boils down to which starting pitcher can give their team a little bit more length. I get it that the A&M's bullpen has been so good this year. But I just think when you look at Oklahoma, you look at the way Jake Bennett threw last weekend against Virginia Tech. You know, Trevin Michael has been really good at the back end for Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is a much better defensive team, and I think we kind of talked about this in the podcast yesterday. But I think that matters on a big stage like this. And so I think this is a game that's going to be decided late, but I think I like Oklahoma narrowly in this first game.
Let's see.
Yeah, this is a good one that feels definitely like it could go either way. I'm just tired of picking against the Aggies, Coach.
Okay.
I'm tired of getting burned when I pick against the Aggies. I've been doing it for about 8 straight weeks. to my detriment. It's not going to happen today. Today we're taking Texas A&M.
There you go.
I just feel like Nathan Detmer is going to turn in a quality start. I love the peace of mind that they've got with Menifee and Polish behind him. I just love the way they grind out at bats. I feel like that offense travels. Coach Rooney always says defense travels. I think this A&M offense travels because they're just going to wear you down like they do everybody. And so even though I think very highly of Jake Bennett and really that whole Sooners team, I think they're so much fun to watch. I'm just going to throw one A&M's way here.
Yeah, Fitzy, I'm right down the middle of you two guys. Like
Okay.
my brain is saying pick Oklahoma. I'll explain that in a second. But I'm right there with you, Fitzy. Like I'm blaming Texas A&M for how badly I did in the weekly picks this year. Like they single-handedly sunk my boat. Now you could argue that I actually made those picks, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to blame Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that negativity on myself, Fitzy. I'm not doing it. So let's go. Fix yourself, A&M. I'm kidding, of course, but I think the two keys are Jake Bennett. Does he throw strikes? Because if he throws strikes, he's going to be in great counts. Because A&M's going to let him get in great counts. And then A&M, do you play good defense? Because defense is so important on this field where it can be tough to generate offense. Guys, you mentioned him, Kendall, Trevin Michael. Like I think that got lost. He was crazy dominant in Blacksburg. I just re-looked up his stats. 4 innings, 8 punch-outs. And just visually, it was nasty. I mean, just like confident, flooding the strike zone, hammer breaking ball for swing and miss. He was nasty. So again, if Jake Bennett just is his normal self, I like Oklahoma in this thing, but you're right, Fitzy. Like I'm picking against A&M for the umpteenth time, and that feels like bad policy.
Look at this. So, I'm on A&M Island now. This is a fun place to be. I like this.
A&M Island. Oh gosh, very good. Boys, let's do Notre Dame, Texas. Fitzy, why don't you kick us off there?
I hate that I have to pick one of these teams because I like them both. I don't want to pick against either one. You guys know how I feel about this Irish team. I mean, I think they could very well, as Coach Rooney would say, go on right on out and win the gosh darn thing. They are really, really, really good. And I think John Michael Bertrand is he's a stud. He's mature. He's 24 years old. He can really pitch. I don't love the matchup against Texas with all those right-handed hitters. Now, I've seen Bertrand, he's really worked hard. He talked about this at the ACC tournament because he did such a good job, I thought, against Florida State in the ACC tournament, pitching and against right-handed hitters. That's been a huge point of emphasis for him since the fall. He came back after a really good year last year, and he said, hey, Coach, Coach Restano, Coach Jarrett, what can I do to get better? And I want to get even better. And they said, all right, here's your point of emphasis. Like we're gonna pitch in. We're going to pitch into righties, and he's made a lot of progress there. He's good at it, and that's going to be absolutely crucial today against Texas with all those right-handed hitters. He's also got a good changeup. He's got weapons against righties, but it's still not a great matchup, right? I mean, you'd rather have a right-hander with a hammer breaking ball. I still believe that that's the best way to beat Texas, and so maybe somebody out of that Notre Dame bullpen winds up looming large here, but I think Texas is playing at such a high level right now. I think Pete Hansen bounces back in a big way today after his worst start of the year in Super Regionals against East Carolina. I just think that Texas has been here before. They just feel like a cool customer, a bunch of cool customers, I guess you would say. And I expect them to come out and find a way to win this game and set up that Aggie Longhorn matchup in the winner's bracket.
KR?
Yeah, Aaron kind of touched on what my point was going to be, and Pete Hansen. This is a guy that's been ultra consistent throughout the season. Really has been ultra consistent the last 2 years. And after his bad start last week, I just don't see him having a second straight bad start. But it is important for him to give them some serious length. I mean, this Texas bullpen. Outside of Tristan Stevens, which he kind of has that hybrid role now, but outside of Tristan Stevens, like the Texas bullpen's been an issue for the last month. And I get it, some guys stepped up in Greenville, but we'll see if they can replicate that in Omaha. But he needs to give them length. I think he will. He's one of those guys that's going to throw a ton of strikes with that breaking ball, that changeup, that fastball. And so I just like Texas for that simple fact. I just don't see Pete Hansen having back-to-back bad starts.
Boy, I'm going to make this pick on the fly, boys, and I'm going to talk my way through it. So this is going to be a really fight, right? That's exactly how you're supposed to do this.
Well, you've
in
already
You're
no
the
preparation.
you're like a great politician. You usually y'all call me the politician. You're being the
I'm not a great
politician.
Well,
politician.
you've already picked Notre Dame to win the bracket in one medium and Texas to win the bracket in another medium. So I don't know what to expect from you here.
This is the tiebreaker right here. Third time's the charm. But boys, like this could be a classic college baseball game. Two elite defenses,
Yeah.
two really mature position player groups. Texas is more dynamic. Notre Dame has great skill. Two of the best pitchability pitchers in college. Pete Hansen and John Michael Bertrand, like these kids can pitch, like really pitch like adults. Home plate umpire really matters in this game. I mean, really, really matters. How much space is he giving Hansen and Bertrand to expand home plate? What's the strike zone look on those two different breaking balls? I'm fascinated. We don't know who the home plate umpire is, as far as I know. I'm curious to see how that plays out. I'm not one that believes that games are decided by the umpires, but I do think that person matters in this game. I also think that this game is going to have probably less than 5 moments where the game's going to be decided. It's going to be hard for these two teams to create separation. So it's who capitalizes in those big moments. I do feel that, to your point, Kendall, I feel like Notre Dame's got a pretty big advantage at the end of the game with the bullpen. Here's the thing, though. Like, there might not be a bullpen in this game. Like, it's not inconceivable that Hansen and Bertrand just go. So I'm really, you guys can probably tell, I'm really fascinated by this game because I think these two teams are really, really interesting clubs. They have a lot of similarities. They have some unique differences too. It's going to be, my gut is it's going to be hard to score against these defenses and these pitchers. It's going to be hard to score. And I think Notre Dame's a little bit more creative in how they score, and that might be the difference. But then I say that now I've got this visual of Austin Todd with these drag bunts that he started to use in the postseason. So all that said, I'm picking Notre Dame.
There you go. Okay, you finally. I was wondering where you're going to get to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Flip flopped a little there.
Yeah. I'm absolute flip flopper over here. Just a fish that just dropped out of the water. So give me the Irish.
And you did wind up picking. I guess they changed your pick for the social media graphics. You've got Texas winning the bracket, so you're projecting Texas now to make a run through the losers bracket. We just want to get that out there.
Oh gosh,
wow.
Yeah, there you go,
Mr. Hedge.
Yeah, Mr. Back yourself into a corner. No credibility. So, oh, great. It's so good, boys. Game one or day one, games are happening. It's like you can kind of settle into a good Omaha routine. Great to see everyone. This event's always like a great college baseball reunion, which is super, super fun. So that is it. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll be here every day doing our previews. We'll probably have some special guests along the way. And that's it, everybody. Hey, before I forget, again, for those of you guys that are in Omaha, we want to say thanks again to Wilson. The Omaha experience in the baseball village over by the stadium will not disappoint. We'd also like to thank Hurrdat Sports for producing our show. Be on the lookout for interviews and content, including their new CWS podcast, Bat Flips and Party Tips, with Anna Bellinghausen and Andrew Rogers. D1Baseball and Hurrdat Sports, we're going to be collabing for the next 12 days in Omaha. They are going to have the great Steven Schock on their show, I think maybe tonight. So keep an eye on that Hurrdat Sports Twitter feed. So, boys, anything else from you? We good?
Let's go. It's game time. I am fired up as ever for this college World Series
Let's
field.
go.
Anything could happen.
Everybody get up.
As the dirt bag, yes, look at Kendall. Gosh, well played. That is well played. As the Long Beach State Dirtbags would say, boys, SKO, SKO. So that is it. Everyone enjoy day one, and